Alright, what's going on, guys? I decided to do a live. Didn't intend, or don't, should say, for it to take too turbo, but I hope you can see my screen here because I want to give people an idea of the detail that actually goes into scouting another team, even, as a coach, looking into, what the other team scouts see as far as your team and what your players' tendencies are, what they don't like to do, where they don't like to shoot from, percentages, etc., etc. So that's what I got on the screen here. If you look at the top left, it shows, first column there, field goals made, attempted, percent, and it also shows the shot distance, right? And this is team wise. So, the first stat there is less than 5 feet. So that would, nutshell, be your damn near finger rolls to layups. We shoot 60%. The fever, that is. My apologies if I didn't go over the title and description. But, moving on, right? 5 to 10 feet, we shoot. Of course, the percentages are going to go down way. 40%, 10 to 14, 41, 15 to 19. So your free throw, jump shots, that range, 35%, around 37% looks like on 20 to 24 feet, and then 25 to 29, which would be, of course, your threes, and then some of the 20 to 24, but around 30%. So 30 to 34 feet and 35 to 39 looks like almost 35%, and then 35 to 39 is 50%. So we'll just call that Caitlin Clark and take those stats off the sheet. So, like I say, when you're another team and you're trying to game plan, these are the things, and there's just so many. It's hard to explain whether it's in chat or even if you're on a panel and things like that, right? So I'm going to scroll down. Okay. So then you got your shot distances, right? Now you got your shot area. Sorry. Mike messed up on me a little bit there. But, okay, shot area. So now this tells us, obviously, where they like to shoot from. Do they like to attack the basket? Or most of their shots in the paint from the restricted area? Mid range, left corner, right corner, left corner three, right corner three, above the elbow, at the elbow. Hell, I hate to bring up backcourt, but that's an option too. And so if you're looking at the figures, basically, on our field goal percentages, right? So if we just go shot distance, we want them to shoot, or I should say, teams want us to shoot a free throw range shot, inside the 3-point line, of course. Anywhere. Let me see if get my finger on the camera. Around that free throw line circle, all the way to the baseline. That is our, where we shoot the worst. percentage wise. And then as far as where we, and I shouldn't say like to take our shots, because as a coach, you want to force the other team to shoot from, obviously, if you're looking at the art, where they shoot the fewest shots from, and force them in that direction. And this is why, I had mentioned to Empire in the KTV and Angry Sports, sorry, Angry Fan Sports chat earlier that, that I'm just using myself for example, right? And all the things that I look for and why that myself or any other coach should always say, unlike White, when she goes to the post game presser, always thinks she has all the damn answers, and it's not possible. Without, the real answer is, what it looked like, because I can tell you what I saw, what things looked like, but I can't tell you for sure without knowing this information and then going back and watching the film, comparing the two, and seeing, let's just say for the Fever, for example, was our offensive game plan worth a shit? Well, the only way I'm going to know that is to know where we shoot the best from, where our spots are, and did the coach do what he or she, in this case Stephanie White, put us in the best position to be successful in any given game. So, like I say, I have to take a look at this and then go watch the film. After, of course, I'll take a few notes off of this, or maybe print the page and look and see. Well, it's really not even difficult to, because on the WNBA website, they will actually give you a game's shot chart. So then I can see where everybody on the team shot from, and it'll show hits and misses and all that. So right here, like I say, shows, on the left side, your restricted area in the paint, mid-range, left, right, above the break, left corner 3, right corner 3, straight up 3. Then you go on down. Now you got assisted shot, right? So we've got and of course these are just going to show made, so it's always going to show. Yeah. But because it can't be assisted, obviously, they didn't make the shot. Unassisted. So we only have 474. So there, you have to take that in consideration, right? And then look at the game stats and see how many assisted we have in the game. Because unassisted, basically, can we all be like Kelsey Mitchell and take our defender to the rim and get buckets? Okay, so but based on looking at these numbers, says hell no, because our assisted point, or not points, field goals made, is in the 900 some change. All right, now threes. Okay, assisted on, so somebody caught a pass from somebody. All right, 307. All right, threes on our own, only 58. So that would tell you, obviously, as a coach, that as long as you're defending the 3-point line, that we're not, it's a low percentage for us. But like I say, this is all scouting and what goes into it. This stat here more goes for NBA, alley oop, layup shot. But anyway, your finger roll layups, cutting layup shot, driving bank, finger rolls, floating jumpers, hook shot. All the numbers up there here. And then, like I say, you take these numbers and then watch the game again. Typically, just say in the case of an analyst or a broadcaster, right? This is what a lot of what goes into their meetings and whatnot, and of course it goes into the coaching strategies and what they're trying to implement. Because you want to take away another team's strengths and of course play to your strengths and make them play to their weaknesses. But yeah, like I say, it's got everything: your layups, pull-up jump shots, running jump shots. So running layups, running pull-ups, running reverse layups. It's got every damn stat. So nutshell, like I say, it tells us right here, if we just look, that say, because if I say a running jump shot, to me is if you can force a team to do that or to shoot off the dribble, some analysts or announcers will call it shooting off the bounce. Same difference. It's not an as efficient shot as, just for example, catch and shoot. My mic is giving me some feedback. So anyway, so at your step back and then lay up and all these numbers. But if I'm just gonna, let's just say, take the bulk, right? I would want to take 3, 4, 5. That would be, 70, 80% of their shots for the season. And then see if our coach put us in a position to type shots and based on info from up here and the range, were we within our highest shooting percent range? Because just say we got those shots we wanted, man, that we always hit from over there. Well, 10 feet, 12 feet, yeah. But 15 to 19 is our worst. So if it was a, free throw range-ish shot, then no, she didn't. We came off the screen. We were too high. We're always, and of course, like I say, having played, having coached, a whole lot of these things are easier, I guess, for me to dissect. It now, even as a fan, it's easy to watch and say, well, the players just didn't execute. They got to make the damn baskets. Okay, aside from layups and free throws, the rest may not necessarily be true. So, okay. So for the Fever, hey, what's up, Junkie? Hey, right here, man. It's some good info. Can you read the screen? And what I'm looking at here, I don't even really know why I hit the live button. It was going to be a video. It is actually. It's just going over scouting, right, and things that I see and what I look for. So if I give you a quick rundown, I know you'll understand it all. Because if you just put it in football terms, right? Let's just say back in the day, Jay Novacek, 5 to 10, 12 yards, money. So right here, it tells our numbers. If I want to, I can even look at a shot chart for the Fever, and it'll tell us where we shoot the best from. So if we're an opposing coach, then we would want to look at this. So, like, if I'm a Fever coach, I want to look at this for the Aces, looking at it for the Fever. All right, so less than 5 feet is almost 1,200 of our shot attempts this year. 5 to 9 feet, 365. And I said, you normally want to take about 3 or 4 of each, say, these stats when you go to making your game plan. When I said, okay, well, coach has to put a player or players, the whole team, in a position to be successful. So if it shows right here, right, that our shooting percentage across the board is the absolute worst in the 15 to 19 foot range. So that's the free throw line, basically. Free throw line, okay, and then everything about 2 feet, 3 feet short of the 3-point line. We shoot less than 35%. Shooting 200 and something field goals, and we've only made like 70. This is for the whole season. 3-pointers, we're at 30.4%. All right, so that gives me my range, right? Now this slide here gives me the shot area. So I'm the Aces coach, right? I'm looking at, okay, where do they shoot most of their shot? Okay, well, maybe they shoot most of their shots from here, but they make the least amount of their shots from here or whatever. Now, obviously, the numbers are going to be lower where our coach knows we shoot like shit. Left corner 3, we're at 30%. Right corner, 39. Now, our mid-range jumpers, we're a whopping 35%. In the paint, this is sad, kind of really, 44%. Now, in the restricted area, so that's layups. Bro, we're only hitting 61% on the season. We shot 1,012 layups and made 623. All right, and our worst, of course, our worst threes, are above, just directly above the free throw line, straight away, 900 and something. So by far the most attempted. We've only made 318 to be exact. Okay, so now right here, if you're looking back at, just say, because we always say, okay, box score is deceiving. For a casual fan, it is. But if you know that it all, goes to this here, and then you take these numbers and go back and watch the film, you know what you're looking for. Did White put them either inside that 15 to 9 foot range or, them shooting threes, and what we just say, not from the left corner. So right here, though, you see that 906 of our field goals were assisted that we made. All right, so only 400 and some change unassisted buckets. So I guess Kelsey Mitchell and Odyssey Sims probably have those. But it even tells you the shot type. Like I say, all this information is, it's right here on the, you just go to advanced stats in WNBA. Like I say, so to, be fair, you can't go like White does to the post game pressers. That's why I said it's so aggravating to me, and tell you exactly what happened during the game and why we lost, because I fucking can't know all this information without reviewing the film. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things that I'm looking at right now, she already knows, and so does their staff. So that's what they're game planning and scheming is offensively to do things that we do well, and obviously defensively, which is the only thing White should even be looking at, is the other team and where they don't like to shoot from and the things they don't like to do. So you got shot type. It says here, right? So we got now. I don't know why it's got alley oop on the WNBA, but you got your finger rolls, you got cutting layup, you got your driving, your floaters. Um, but it looks like let's see here, 200. We're about 70% on our cutting layup shots. 140 out of 200. I guess you bolted. It is a lot of info. Scroll down because there's so let me take 3 or 4 though here. See jump shots. Man, we're only at 36%. So yeah, when I rewatch the game, or even pull up say a shot chart from last night's game against the Aces, I will see if our jump shots were in that 15 to 19-foot range, that our percentages are the worst. Then we would say that Becky Hammon and the Aces defensively played a good game. If they weren't, then yes, our coach put us in the best position, and we just damn didn't make them. What some people say, numbers don't lie. All right, layups. Yeah, I said 61. This one's saying 62%. Same. Yeah, almost. All right, our pull-up jump shots, 33%. We're only making about 60% of our putbacks. But yeah, so if I'm another team, I'm looking at jump shots, and we know where the layups come from. But you just be looking for your driving layups or the backdoor cuts, things like that. That's where the majority looks like, and that's what you'd expect. Let's see. So yeah, 825 of our shots were jump shots. 329 were pull-ups. So let's see, on step back jump shots, those had to be CC before she got injured. So like I say, that's what we would be looking at. Go to watch the film of offensively Fever. So then we pull up Ace here to see if defensively we did what we needed to do. I haven't really looked on this site a ton to see. Oh, here we go. All right, shooting. Wait a minute. There we go. So here's scoring percentages. Home, road, wins, losses. Monthly one loss, pre, post, all star, and how well a team plays after X amount of days rest. So if our next game is Friday, today's Wednesday, so there'll be one. So 2 days rest. It looks like we played this season 10 games on 2 days rest, and let's see. Let me look at the games played minutes. See if this thing goes over. No. Points off turnovers. On 2 days rest, that is actually our best percentage on days off rest before next game. So that's good to know. All right, let's see here. See, you can always hit opponent, and then see there. Hit 4 factor. It goes up. Okay, home road. All right, wins, losses. What all of our percentages were home and away. Yeah, that's the same. Almost as before. We have advanced. I was advanced go. All right, that was. Let's go to traditional. Typically it should probably pull up something a whole lot like a box score, which is, you know, like say to, well, I guess myself now even is I'm still or back to the casual fan. So let's see. Okay, some of those things shouldn't look like that. So uh, oh, I wonder why it says that though. It's aggravating. There. That's why my numbers was missing on the shooting. All right, so we get on the 25 season. See if I can pull up the shot chart. Oh shit! Whoops! I lost my page. Here's what a lot of people need to look at. Rules of the game. Sometimes they be talking about some shit. I'm like, huh? Career opportunities. Now you hit that ooh right there, officiating info. Hey, I have to be an official in the W. I do have my officiating license, but I'm sure ain't going to do that shit in the WNBA. Bump that. Let's see. What else? News, players, team. Right there. It's on that. No. All right. Franchise leaders, lineups, and then there's on off court by the team. Tools. Here we go. See, there's your player and then team streaks, box score. And of course, franchise leaders, which is just shit. I wanted to go to what is that? All right, so that's not gonna give me what I want. Let me see. Uh, see, I can get individual player shot charts, and believe this or not, but Kelsey Mitchell's the spot on the court that she shoots the absolute worst is in the 5 to 10 foot range on her left side, and she's left-handed. Doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. Kelsey Mitchell, 2025 shot chart, and it'll come up. All right. So, like I say, even without looking at the numbers, if I just want to go per player instead of, so then there again, you go back, you look at the film, and see where Kelsey took shots from. If they weren't in the high percentage areas, then the coaches didn't do the best they could to put her in, to be successful. It's taking a minute for her to scroll around here. All right, Kelsey Mitchell's 2025 shot chart. Hopefully, you guys can see that. If I can click the image here. There we go. Well, at least it's coming up. All right, if you can't see the numbers, right here, dark red is the absolute worst. On the season, she's 1 for 5 in the 1 to 5 foot range from the left hand side. Her ball strong side. So, because obviously there's a free throw line and a circle. There's 3, right? But yeah, these numbers out here aren't terrible. But the corners here are her worst spots, percent wise, straight away. Believe it or not, she's around 50% from the corners. On the right hand side, in that 5 to 10 foot range, 100% on the season. Just below the free throw line was 50%. And then, your range looks like they're all about the same, 36, 37%. So, for her, it would be, pushing her over to her left side or, in the 5 to foot range. It's like say it's all in, that when we say player tendencies, we're not always talking about, just watching their game and hey, when their foot moves this way or their leg or whatever, when they, you know, do, whatever, move right, they're faking right, they're going left. Um, because you would at least think anyway that at the professional level, they're gonna do some fakes, and they should be able to do things both ways without issue. Now, obviously, we've seen that's not necessarily true, but all right, let me look here for the. Let's see. See, there's even your clutch stats. See, I can go to teams shooting by zone, or okay, so I can pick this one right here. Pick pieces since that's who we're playing. Now I'm going to change my season to 2025. Now let me go down here and pick the aces, and it'll tell me where they suck. And that's where we want to explore. Right, here we go. So here's their info 2025. They look better on the other screen. Whoops, I hit traditional, that's why. Advanced. 2025. Yep. And all other stats are. Stand by, I gotta go to scoring. There we go. Same bullshit. I look for the shooting. Yeah, of course it ain't. You just changed my year from 25 to 26. Donkeys. Alright, 25. Here we go. So, yeah, likewise, we want to watch film or just go back and rewatch the game. This is the Aces. See if we did a decent job on defense. We had to look at, where they make the most of their shots and where they suck from. And were we able to, push them to those areas of the court, those zones. And it looks like, the most of their shots when actually we're in the, like I had said, nobody shooting CC threes in the 20 to 24 foot range. That's where the bulk of their shots came this year. And they shot about 37%. Second most shots came less than 5 feet, so there's Asia and their layups. So you got, yeah, if you just took those two, that's 1,000 shots from less than 8 feet, it says, and 1,000 some from 3 point. So here's your shot area. All right, above. So on the threes, they never, it looks like, right? You're talking about on the whole season. Left corner, 90. Right corner, 70. 960 straight away, 3. Right? Points in the paint, 900. In the restricted area, so layups, be 460. So that's, those 3 stats right there. Tell you everything you need to know. Did we make them, shoot their shots, threes that, weren't near the top of the key? If we did, then we did our job. If they made them, then they've had a hell of a game. Mid range, it shows them at 43% or something, 477 of their shots. But, even above the free throw line, straightaway threes, the percentage is only 34 and some change percent. Restricted areas, so layups, hell, they're at 30 or 63%. And this is huge because they're unassisted shots, almost the same as ours. Assisted shots, so passes off, shots made off of passes, I should say, almost 900. And then here, tells you where exactly those, you know, 8 foot, 12 foot, 20 foot shots came from. All right, cutting layups. Looks like floating jump shots, driving layups, just regular jump shots. And I say regular jump shots, that'd be off a pass. So screen, catch and shoot, and then their pull up jump shot uh, is around 500. But jump shots off pass, assisted, 900 and some change. So that's the 3 or 4. Like I say, you just want to take most of those and take 3 or 4, the most important stats. Obviously, you want to, this is team, right? You got to really breaking it down. You want to look at each individual player, how much playing time they're getting, and versus trying to think of the word for it. But yeah, the playing time they're getting. Let's just say Timpson, she gets 12 minutes, and when she does, she's averaging around 8-9 points. Okay, so when she's in the game, if we're another team, we need to put somebody on her. Just kind of, you think anyway, common sense. But it is what it is. So, this video, I didn't intend for it to be this long. Looks like 40 something minutes. Because this is still only a portion of what goes into actually scouting. Because this doesn't, when you're actually scouting, you want to know, what they like to do offensively, defensively, to start the game, to start each quarter, coming out of the half, coming out of timeouts. You know what I mean? Like say offensively and defensively. What kind of, and I'll say for the aces, because I'm fairly certain that Becky Hammon at least has her player rotations down to a science that she knows who plays well together and who doesn't. Apparently we don't. We're still trying to figure that out. And maybe that was actually, it's just off the top of my head and best I remember, that looked to be one of the biggest reasons. Was just that our player rotations, were terrible. None of them seemed to gel. Unless it was our starting lineup players, then they were used to it. But at the same time, a lot of people look past the aces because they started the season slow, but still finished at 30-14. And jumped all the way to that second spot. which there was a time we all remember that that second slot should have been ours. When we were gunning for it, and we just, yeah, we didn't get there. But nonetheless, that is on the, all those stats are on the WNBA's website. So, like I say, you don't even necessarily have to watch, a whole game. You can watch highlights and you'll still see, those percentages of where, I showed of these are higher percentage shots for the Aces as a team. These are not. And you'll see that they make those shots more times than not, or they miss them. So, yeah, like I say, the other thing goes as far as, and I say the other thing, there's so many things that go into scouting as a whole. Let me keep out of this. There we go. So anyway, yeah, as far as scouting, like I say, you also want to scout the other team's staff. Who's doing what, who's controlling what, who's letting the coach know you should challenge that play. No, don't challenge that one. Sometimes it happens fast, so they just let it go. And we're thinking, oh God, why didn't they challenge that? But like I say, I didn't intend to make the video this long. I just wanted folks to know all of the various info that's obviously available for free to you guys out there. And, kind of what you need to know. And that's just, like I say, some of what you need to know before then you go back and look at the game. And, a lot of times you end up going, oh, so, yeah, like I say, if, we just like players have tendencies, coaches do too. So, nutshell, Becky Hammon played White like a fiddle last night. And I don't know who didn't or wouldn't have thought that, that she was going to try to make a statement since, they lost fairly big in game one. So, another reason, I considered they probably would have came out with quite a bit more energy. Even though, they didn't necessarily start out that way. They weren't making everything. But nonetheless, to who's watching or what have you, I will see you guys in a little bit on Courtside's Live. Y'all go make sure you like and subscribe to his channel. Keep the Vision, Angry Fan Sports, OJTL over at John the Liquidator, and there's plenty more. Livewire, all right, Livewire Sports Media. He does a great job too. So, yes, please make sure you go like and subscribe to their channels. Not to mine, because I do probably too much analyzing, and obviously you have to take a certain portion of the human factor into consideration when you're doing the scouting or making in-game adjustments, things like that. But you should already have all of this information beforehand, so that when certain things don't go right. I mean, there are games that nothing goes right. And you're just scratching your head. But as long as you have that information, then you can make the adjustments you need to make. So whoever the assistant is, it's not providing that info that's supposed to be. We need to blame them, I guess, if we're not going to blame White. I think for the most part, at least for myself, right, is when I blame White, it's because she doesn't ever blame herself when she goes to the podium. So I'm actually speaking for her. When I say this game here was more about myself and the coaching staff. We've got to do a better job. We sucked. Our game plan sucked. The players didn't execute either, which didn't help. But it's still my fault because I'm the one as the head coach, and I want all of the attention because, you know what I'm saying, I don't get it at home. Um, I've got to take responsibility for that, and like I say, that's on me. And I got to do better. We've got to do better, and we'll get it fixed before Friday. We just want to hear it once, Steph. Get off the who gets credit for what and all that bullshit. Nobody gives a fuck. Players just want to win. They want to play. Nobody likes fucking losing. See y'all.